We're making turkey meatloaf. And this is a
Yum!
really simple recipe. You can do this in advance, put it in the fridge, and then stick it in the oven an hour before you're ready to eat. So what I did was I sauteed up my veggies here. I've got onions, red bell pepper, there's thyme, parsley, and garlic. So you just do
Yum.
that in advance. Let it cool down a bit before you start to use it.
Right, before you mix it right with the meat. Sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Ryan, pull the turkey out of the refrigerator. I forgot to get the turkey out. Standard. That's really standard for me. I can't remember anything anymore. It's like Iris has sucked every bit of brain cells left out of me. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and
I feel like my head's a colander.
Here.
How many eggs, Katie? 2?
2 eggs. Okay. This is hilarious. I can't believe I forgot the turkey for the turkey meatloaf. Anybody who follows me on Instagram knows that I'm always forgetting stuff in all my recipes. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist. Got 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs going in. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce.
Oh my God, I love it. Every time you use ground meat, use Worcestershire. Woo!
Yes, yes. Half a cup of ketchup goes in. And then I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of salt, since that's what I've got 2 pounds of meat. I do 2 teaspoons of salt. And then I'm going to add a little pepper to it.
She dropped the spoon down. She's like, oh, to heck with that. You just put in what feels good. You put in what feels good.
Yeah, use it as a guide. And then you mix all your meat up. And I think it's important not to overmix the meat, because then it starts to get a little tough. And that's when you get that.
It makes it tight, doesn't it? It does. It really does.
Yeah, and then you get a tough meatloaf. And nobody wants a tough meatloaf, that dried out type of.
Do you find that it's a lot like, we talked about this before at burger bashes and stuff, that people either love ground meat dishes from a burger to a meatloaf, or they hate them, and it goes back to their childhood. You know, how good or bad. Yes, how good or bad.
I love ground meat dishes. When it was steak night, my grandma would give the adults a steak and the kids got a hamburger patty with steak sauce. So
my mama used to do that too. She called it knife and fork burger night, and like the grown-ups would have like a ribeye, but we would have a burger that we'd eat with a knife and fork and a little bit of the gravy from, or whatever sauce she made for the steak, a little bit of that spread on the hamburger, and it looked all fancy. She'd make a little rose out of a radish or a tomato, and it looked like you were at some fancy place, you know, and you'd eat it with a knife.
I like that. Now, I'm using my parchment paper so that I don't mess up my hands to form.
Oh, that is such a great tip. Look at that tip, everybody.
Yeah, so you just form it that way. And I love having parchment paper on the pan, because then it's less cleanup. And I hear Iris starting to cry. Of course, she's right on cue. So I've got my ketchup going on. I love to put ketchup on the top of meatloaf. I think you're either a ketchup meatloaf person or a mushroom gravy. I'm a ketchup.
I'm a ketchup. I like both. I'll eat any meatloaf, but I dig it.
I'm not going to say no if somebody makes me the mushroom gravy one. All right, I'm going to put this in the oven, 350 degrees. It goes in for about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how thick of a loaf you made. I've got one that's already done. Here we go.
Where do you pull it at, Katie? Do you pull it at like 165, 170? Where are you on that?
Yeah, 165, and let it stand.
Let it hang out.
You know, about 10 minutes before you cut into it. And you can see it comes out nice caramelized ketchup on top. And there's not a lot of cleanup. I'll be able to just lift this up. I could put it right onto a platter this way. And then I always like to serve it with a couple more recipes from the book, just some classic mashed potatoes, super simple. And I've got a little shredded Brussels sprout salad here, which I really like to add a little freshness to the plate.
Simple lemon juice dressing on that?
Yeah, lemon juice, shallots, Dijon honey, and extra virgin olive oil. That's all you need.